Okay, quick little video tour of the 1987 Ski Centurion TruTracII with the Dynadrive direct drive system. This is a original V-drive boat. You have to excuse the camera work. I'm a bit of a rookie. And it seems like whenever I try to do the landscape, it won't convert right. So I'm just gonna do a quick walk around on this, and if I like the video, I'll keep it, and if I don't, I'll delete it. So I did a full restoration of this boat. Took about a year to complete. There's a lot of extras. A lot of the design was sort of done intentionally. You know, the colors were kind of intentionally put together to be kind of wild. I wanted to incorporate, you know, a lot of this sort of neon lime green with white and off-white, and then try to incorporate that with the black wrap, with some, you know, bold colored accents. You know, purple being sort of one of them. And if you look around the boat, you'll see where I sort of tucked in some purple in some not so easy to find places. Like, for example, the Teleflex adapter for the Momo steering wheel. You can kind of see that it's purple. And there's only a few folks making those, and thanks to our friends at Ski Marine, they made this guy and they shipped it to me. I called them. There's only one guy bought up all the original Momo adapters for the Teleflex system, and he's down in South Florida somewhere, and I couldn't get a hold of him, so the folks at Momo put me in touch with a guy at Ski. And so I talked to him, and he said, yep, we've got them in a couple of different colors. And I wanted something to match this purple, this sort of flaked purple on my bow piece for the air induction. And he had one, so they shipped it to me same day. So I will be buying more stuff from our friends at Ski. The wrap itself was sort of designed to be a Texas, you know, the Texas Lone Star flag. The way the design worked, it was supposed to be cut well below the water line to show off the true design, and we ended up with, you know, this, which is cut at the water line. You know, it's a little short. You can only see sort of half of the flag, and of course it's reversed on the other side, so it's a little difficult to see. I added some other decals, the Centurion logo. I added that just today. I had a guy down in at Extreme Wraps in Plano install that for me. I had this one built, this vinyl decal I had custom made to show off Frisco Audio, who did all of my system work for me. And they also were kind enough to install my cargo bimini as well. So Frisco Audio, Brian, Tony, and the crew down there did a pretty bang-up job for me on the system, and I think I'll show that off in another video. Stellar Effect, John Stellar here in Frisco did my original wrap, and it was sort of a mediocre job, but he's much better than the material I gave him to work with. Unfortunately, he had to sort of work with 3 different kinds of vinyl, and that was probably more of a challenge than he really wanted to deal with. I think if I were going to do it again, and I will do it again next year, I'm going to go with a different design. I think this is just going to be for this summer. But I do kind of like how that Centurion logo worked out. But anyways, you can see the Texas Lone Star flag is a bit, you know, it's a bit halfway there. You know, it was sort of designed to stretch well below the water line, and it would have accentuated the flag appeal much more. In fact, I've had a few people look at it and say, ooh, that's a nice star, without even realizing that that's the Texas Lone Star flag. So I had another wrap underneath the bow, and I just didn't like the way that turned out. You can kind of see the shading of it. There's another logo underneath there, and I just didn't care for it, or those guys, to be honest with you. So I went over the top of it with this 4D sort of lime green wrap, and it turned out to not have as much stretch as we originally had hoped for, and so it's bubbling in some places, and we're going to have to sort of cut and seal to get rid of some of the bubbles. Not a huge deal, because again, this wrap is only sort of designed to last through this summer, but you know, I think so far so good. It's got my company logo on it, so I went ahead and just sort of added that. So I felt like I needed to sort of self-promote a little bit. Not too much, but you know, just enough where people are going to ask, because they're definitely going to hear it. This is a 3,000 watt RMS system. There's two 12s underneath the bow. I have 4 speakers underneath the gunnels, and then I also have 4 speakers above the tower. So I'm working with 2 mids and 2 drivers up here, and they're powerful enough to drive the system without these speakers down here. I'm using 100% DD audio, so amplifiers, speakers, subs. It's all DD audio, digital designs out of Oklahoma. My friend Brian at Frisco sort of turned me on to DD, and I haven't looked back since. They're in all my stuff. I've got a championship system in this Expedition, and I've got just a passable one in that F-150, just enough to get me down the road. But we sort of went nuts on the system in the boat, precisely because it's going to be parked and in sort of crowded areas at times, hanging out with other boaters, and so I wanted something that could, if we had to, power the party. And I think we did it. I think we got to a point where the system that we have here is pretty effective. So this is all brand new interior. We went with a couple of different kinds of material. Gosh, there's a lot of bugs here in Texas. As you can see, there's a dimpled pattern vinyl, and then we've got some white and off-white pleather, marine grade interior. I polished the dash, and we continued the stripe with the wrap material from the dash, or from the bow through the dash. So we sort of continued that contour. I took the factory cup holders and painted them with sort of a lime, with a Dodge lime color, and then I bought some stainless inserts to insert in there. I also used some pearlizer as well, to sort of see what I could do about getting a sort of a match to the 4D carbon finish, and it looks okay. This is the factory mirror. This is the one that came with the boat. I had hoped to replace it because it's got a few dimples in it, but it's been harder than you can imagine to find one of these guys in any kind of shape that's better than this one. So I've been sort of trying to protect it. But yeah, it's one of a few pieces of factory equipment. The dash we didn't get around to this year, but next year I'm having Lavorsi build me all new gauges, and I'm going to take all this off. I'm going to have a guy custom pinstripe all of these markings and indicators over new wrap. So this will all be new. So it's right now it's kind of the only dated part of the boat. You know, I mean, you see these 2 air guide gauges. Those are going to be replaced, and next year I'm going to get Perfect Pass, and so it'll be GPS oriented instead of the air pressure system it is now, because that's just outdated and it doesn't really work all that well. Like with most people that have an air guide, one gauge is more sensitive than the other. It just makes it difficult to be accurate and know what you're doing. So this is my boat video. I may only keep this just for me, but it sort of shows everything that I did to the boat to date. There's a few more things I need to do. Next winter the floors are coming out. I'm going to install new carpet and I'm probably going to do some pretty funky carpet in here, get rid of this sort of factory gray look and do something kind of wild, because that's kind of the concept behind this boat, is wild and crazy. And I also would like to, next winter, I'm also going to take the rub rail off all the way around, and I'll be installing new rub rail. So yeah, this is the boat, the 1987 Ski Centurion TruTracII. Let's get the rebuilt motor in here, which we can save for a different day. When I fire this bad boy up, you can listen to it. Okay, thanks for watching.